ways to transition the poi, whether it's from one direction to another direction or from one plane to another plane. And those two ways are stalling and plane bending. So let's start with plane bending. I'll demonstrate what that is real quick. So if I am spinning in the forward direction and in the vertical plane, and I would like to transition into the wall plane, the one way to do it is to slowly bend the planes so that they gradually turn and transition into the wall plane. Okay, so that is plane bending. And actually go ahead and try it with me, and try it with just one poi. Your dominant hand, whether it's right or left, just begin. And this is also a great drill in terms of plane control, in terms of cleaning up your planes and getting more fine-tuning with your motor skills in the fingers. So seeing how parallel you can keep it in the vertical plane, and then beginning to bend that plane. And when I'm bending the plane, I'm kind of taking my fingers and just sort of making that sort of, hey, come over here motion in toward the heart space, or in toward the midline. And then now the poi is spinning kind of on the back side of my hand, if you can see that. Okay, now I'm going to bend the plane back. And so to do that, I'm just going to reverse everything that I just did, and it's kind of on that down current that I'm pulling it back. Okay, and when I'm bending into the wall plane, it's on that up current that I'm pulling into that, just bending it a little bit. So that is plane bending. And so you've learned the weave in the forward falling current and also in the reverse rising. So where that would apply is, let's say I'm facing this way, and I want to now turn to face you with my weave. Well, one way to do it is to begin bending those planes just little by little. And in fact, you can go all the way around, so that now I'm facing the other side. You can go all the way around in a full circle. So that is like a little mini lesson on plane bending. The second method of transitioning is to stall. So that means bringing the poi to a complete stop, or the hoop, whichever one, and so that it can then swing into a whole new direction. And I will demonstrate really quickly. And you've already been doing this, we just haven't articulated it, because you've been spinning in the forward falling current and then going into the reverse current. You automatically do it. You already know how. It's like second nature. However, there is some grace that you can bring into it through the technique of actually bringing your energy into it. So just practicing swinging, and let's just do one poi. And I think the real trick here is just getting used to the poi swinging like a pendulum. So it stalls here kind of at 3 o'clock, and then it stalls at 9 o'clock. You know, and maybe at first it might be kind of like this. You may not, well, maybe not that bad. So just really, this just takes a little getting used to, okay? And then bringing both poi into it, or even swinging like this in opposite. So I'm just stalling them out one at a time, okay? Now in the forward, going from forward to reverse, I can stall it like this and then go into reverse. I can do that. Or I can bring my whole body into it, and I can stall and reach as far back as I can. That little step kind of helps me. And if I'm in reverse and I want to stall it the other way, now I can stall and then bring it all the way back. So that's just something to play with, to see how much you can really extend into that and let that energy really transfer through the poi. Now the other stall that I want to show you is, and that's also, real quickly, it works better in same time. Obviously if you're in split time, it's going to be kind of strange. So if you are weaving and you know that you want to keep facing this way but transition into the reverse weave, just a really simple way to do that is to come back into same time, stall back, and now you're in reverse, and then you can go into your reverse weave. And then same this, and you can maybe just go back and forth. So behind and in front. So the other type of stall that I really like, especially to complete the sequence, is nice, is that it's just a really simple down stall. Okay, so I'm gonna take my poi. I'll demonstrate really quickly. So my poi are gonna come up, and at that 12 o'clock, my hands are gonna come up and follow the poi down. All right, so it's down, just coming, like sending them all the way down to a full stop right here. And that is just a really nice thing to do anywhere in your dance, especially at the end. You can take a little bow. And most importantly, when you come into that down stall, what's really nice about a down stall in any stall is at that point, you can go anywhere else you want. So stalls are really important to learn, and there's a whole world of stalls. I am not an expert in stalling. There's up stalls, right? And there's, getting into stalling one up and one down, right? So there's a whole world in stalls. You can do stalls to the side. So you can just practice and play with all these different stalls, and go on YouTube and just look up stall tutorials to get a feel for all the different kinds of stalling out there. I just wanted to bring two simple ones to you for the purpose of the first sequence. So with the hula hoops, it's going to be a little bit different. This concept, the whole concept of transitioning is actually quite different with the poi and the hoop. But just bear with me. There's a couple ways you could transition the hoops, going from rising into, so I can stall it, I'm going to grab a hold here and then just stop them in the 12 o'clock position. And maybe we can slow that down. So they're rolling between my thumb and my pointer, and then I'm going to let it roll into the palms of my hands and then stop it right there. And from here, I can send them into the forward direction. And then from forward, I can grab them and just let them stall onto the backs of my shoulders. So that's one way to do it. I just was playing around with a way to mirror the poi. It would look like this. Out in front. And then out in back. Now I had to do something really tricky. If you can see, I'm going to bring the hoop between my pointer finger and my power middle finger. So if you watch that, and now it's in the palm of my hand. So with the hoop, because I can muscle it to a stop when it's going in a pendulum motion, I can just stop it in mid-air like that. We cannot do that with the poi. So as you can see, it's going to be a little bit different, and there are beautiful possibilities that open up with either, whether you're with the poi or with the hoop. The poi are definitely going to be less rigid, so I think that there's a sensitivity that has to develop with practice with the poi, and that's a beautiful journey in and of itself. So that wraps up the technique part of this lesson, and stay tuned for a little message on a little question that I'm going to leave you with at the end. So we just finished up a lesson on transitions and finding grace in transitions. So the last question I want to leave you with is the question of how do you find grace in your transitions on your life journey? Do you tend to be a plain bender, right? Just, really muscling, from one direction to the next in life, or do you tend to slow down and come to a full stop? And and also where in life can you think of where one might serve better than the other, where one method might serve better than the other? So these are questions that we explore more fully in the Beauty That Transforms program, and I invite you to take with you and just explore it in your life journey and also in your dance. And one thing I didn't mention in the actual lesson is the concept of 0 point, the physics concept. There is a phenomenal thing in a perfect stall with the poi, and I imagine this happens in nature as well. The perfect stall is when the poi is in full motion and comes to a complete stop, where for a split second there is no force pulling it in any direction, and at that point, that 0 point, every single possibility of direction is possible. And you can think of it even as a pendulum swings. There's a 0 point at both sides. And even in nature, right? This is, in a way, this can be really relatable to the dance, the universal dance of nature. When we go through seasons, when we hit that winter or summer solstice, even the planetary tilt has to come to a full stall before it comes back the other way. So, in life, this is definitely an important question to ask ourselves, and I invite you to consider, like, when can it really serve to slow down fully and come to that place of being able to see all possibilities. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, sending lots of joy, peace, and beauty to you from Hawaii. Aloha and namaste.